So Trump, if you see this segment, if you see this show, anyone that's rooting for ICE, do a Blues Brothers reenactment of them surrounding City Hall, because that's what needs to be done. You want to stop criminality, go to City Hall.
So I want to show you a video. Well, here's one more black guy talking about what's happening in Chicago.
See, I'm pissed off.
That's Jamal Green.
Out there.
I'm sorry, say again?
That's Jamal Green. He ran for mayor of Chicago twice. He's an entrepreneur and activist, and he's been on my show. He has been one of the people that's been calling out Brandon Johnson from the beginning.
Okay, let's watch.
See, I'm pissed off because a lot of people out there are acting like they don't understand what is actually happening in the city of Chicago in regards to the ICE raids. Let me tell you something. Black people, again, are collateral damage in this. And all the black people that are getting mad at ICE and Donald Trump, hold on, you got to get mad at the politicians right here locally, because it was the politicians right here in your city that decided to dump the migrant issue on the black community like they do every single time. When they came across the border and checked asylum, they were able to come over into our city and get incentives like medical care, 6 months free rent, free transportation, free child care. We fed them each and every day. And those people that they were giving assistance to, they didn't go up to the north side and to the white community. All of the people out there protesting that are white, they didn't open up their doors for them, and they didn't want none of the shelters on their neighborhood. Guess where they opened up the shelters? In the black community. Those same school buildings that they shut down in 2013 that were educating black kids, they took those school buildings and they made them migrant shelters. And then they gave over $700 million to a company out in Florida to manage those shelters. They took the buildings that you've been asking for to be developed and build new housing, and they made them into migrant homes, giving them 6 months of free rent. They dumped the problem on black community like they do every single time. When it was George Floyd riots, they closed downtown and pushed people to loot into the neighborhoods because they knew that people didn't care. Where was all the people right now? They weren't in our neighborhoods helping us open up back up our businesses. They were not in our neighborhoods helping us clean up. They weren't in our neighborhoods when we were fighting for Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by Jason Van Dyke. I didn't see them at the protest. But now, right now, they want to make black people a part of the fight. When they made us collateral damage in the first place, we are always losing. That's why ICE is raiding buildings where black people are, is because they put them there. They pay for their rent. They pay for their food. They pay for their child care. They pay for everything, but they didn't put them where they live. They put them where black people live because they don't want to invest into the community. So that's the easiest place to dump a problem. So, yes, we can say ICE is being aggressive. Yes, we know that our armed forces are always aggressive more to us. But what we can say is that our politicians did it to us. They should have never allowed them to come over here in droves like they did. And then when they did come over here, they should have never put them and dumped them in black communities, acting like we didn't want economic development, like we didn't deserve better schools and deserve community centers and deserve grocery stores. We deserve better. And our politicians need to act like it. Stop putting everything before us.
Wow. So that sounds like that guy might be mayor.
He should be. He's one of the people I call the dauntless few, who actually has integrity and has been calling out Mayor Brandon Johnson, and even before then, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and even before then, Mayor Rahm Emanuel. He's been on my show a few times. He's one of the few that's actually reaching out and trying to uplift and build communities across the city of Chicago through activism, through entrepreneurship programs. And yes, he's been running for mayor twice. And I did ask him, would you consider doing it again? He didn't give me an answer. He's been through a lot. He's been through the machine, but he's one of the few good people in Chicago that I could say actually has the heart and cares about this city, unlike the last 3 mayors that we've had.
Okay, so here's a tweet of his. He says, go look at a couple of pastors who were with Brandon, meaning the current Chicago mayor, today in his press conference. They just happen to have been awarded the ability to run migrant shelters, like Pastor Chris Harris, who was up front. Selling their ass for money while communities get nothing. So he's saying, so Jamal Green is saying that those pastors who are supporting Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago right now, they're getting money. They're getting money to keep this migrant problem going, right? That's what he's saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's always a profit in it. Same thing like with these nonviolent programs. One of the looters for the smash and grab that happened at Louis Vuitton in Michigan Avenue, before you came here to Chicago at Zany's, there was a smash and grab, and one of the looters was actually photographed with Governor JB Pritzker, and he was part of a nonviolent program, for people to be reformed to get back on the streets. See, the thing is, it's all about money, and these programs aren't about rehabilitating or making people better or building up the entire city. So, when you see ICE and FBI in the streets and patrolling and rounding up quote unquote bad guys, I just want to say this, Trump, if you really want to make a difference, go to City Hall, because that's where the real criminals are at. That's where the real bad guys are at. Because as soon as the occupation is over, once ICE goes home, once the National Guard goes home, once the FBI goes home, the cancer will regrow on the street corners, in the alleys, in the abandoned buildings. The mobsters, the gangsters, the cartels, the criminals, all the bad guys will be back because the beating heart is in City Hall. So Trump, if you see this segment, if you see this show, anyone that's rooting for ICE, do a Blues Brothers reenactment of them surrounding City Hall because that's what needs to be done. You want to stop criminality, go to City Hall. Otherwise, what we're seeing here, it's going to regrow again and be far worse.
Here's what the Pritzkers, though, are I mean, how much does the governor drive that? Because Chicago is that's the most major city there, isn't it? And Pritzkers are like the Soros of Japanese detainment camp people. Like the Pritzkers made their money stealing from Japanese detainees in World War II. You know that? And so I imagine they're a crime family is how I look at them. And I would have to imagine they'd be much the way Bill Clinton ran Arkansas and the Mina cartel that brought all that crack into the black neighborhoods in the 90s. It seems very reminiscent of that to me.
Well, the political machine is different. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead, kid.
Well, the thing is, remember, Madigan right now is
Michael Madigan. Tell people who he is.
Yeah, Michael Madigan at one point was the longest state house speaker in American history. He was also part of the Democrat machine. So the reason why Chicago is the way that it is and politics is the way it is in Illinois is because of him. He's one of the main architects. He's one of the main people that
he's in prison now.
He will soon be going into prison. Right now, He has 2 weeks before he has to report in. He's left of the old guard, so the whole political machine right now is up in air. It's like who's going to control it? Maybe the Pritzkers, maybe somebody else. Who knows? But the future of the machine is up in the air, and 2027 is going to be that year for city politics in Chicago.
So here's a Hispanic alderman, and here's a black guy, Jamal Green. They're not calling out ICE. They're calling out the government in Chicago, the mayor, and they're calling out the white protesters against ICE, right? So here's what Alderman Raymond Lopez says. 47 people shot this weekend in Chicago. No protests or calls for peace. No politicians or clergy demanding an end to the violence because they can't blame the president for it. Most Chicago leaders are hypocrites and grief peddlers. Nothing more, nothing less. And so that's when Jamal Green says, go look at those pastors. They're on the take. They're getting money to keep this migrant problem going. So you can have all your ire directed at ICE and Trump. That's easy. Yep. But number one, why doesn't the Chicago mayor work with ICE so he can avoid some of those problems? A. B, why did they turn it into a sanctuary city in the first place when they didn't have the money to take care of those people? C, why did they send them to poor black neighborhoods where they had just closed down their schools and then pay $700 million to put them in those schools that were empty? I mean, that is nuts. You're going to take $700 million and give it to a company from Florida to run a migrant shelter at an abandoned a school that they closed down in a poor black neighborhood instead of taking that $700 million and investing it in that community? That's mental. And of course, people are going to welcome ICE in those situations and turn on their politicians like they should. They should.
There are a couple reasons why maybe this happened. Again, moving the migrants in the southwest side neighborhoods to lower the property costs, lower the values of the property, so more people can swoop in, or those with money can swoop in to gentrify the neighborhoods and push everyone out. The Coca-Cola classic. Yeah. Then, of course, Brandon Johnson not working with ICE. He probably got a phone call. Somebody picked up the phone and said, "Hey, don't work with them. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure you get reelected," or some kind of jazz. And then on top of that, you have everything else. It's a perfect storm to make Chicago into a political and, dare I say it, a real war zone, because this is going to get out of hand because people's emotions are very high here in the city. It's already, not only is it heavily taxed, but people are struggling to survive. And these politicians who want to play a game, this game might blow up in their face too, and they will very well soon lose control.
It's kind of nuts. If you want to hear our jokes about ICE, come see us in Irvine, California, Australia, Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania on December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for those tickets. But October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.